Hey crypto friends, my name is Garrett and I am a crypto day trader whose overall goal here with my channel is to simply help other traders in the most simplistic ways as possible. So in today's educational video, I am going to be talking about why most crypto holders end up not making as much money as they should be making and how they can overcome that problem very, very easily. And I'm going to be showing you examples too. And for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same exchange I use on a daily basis, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange here with the link in the video description down below this video. I personally love this exchange because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures. So if you're one of those people and you want to trade crypto futures, you can do it right here on the Blowfin exchange. All right, guys, so here's the problem, all right? Most people, I'm literally the majority of crypto holders, especially the new ones that just get into, holding crypto for the first time. Most of them buy their long-term hodl positions in the bear market, which is great. I mean, there's obviously people who don't buy in the bear market, but most people tend to, obviously buy in the bear market, especially the ones who are, relatively smart at figuring out what they need to do to or where they need to buy in order to get the best gains as possible. Now, this is a great news, all right? But these same people who are buying in the bear market are also holding these coins all throughout the entire bullish cycle as well. And by doing so, they miss out on all kinds of larger profit making opportunities. So, instead of marrying your bags and holding on for dear life for months or years on end throughout the bull cycle, instead you should be macro trading these hodl positions instead. And I'm going to be showing you an example of what I'm talking about here and what you can do about it and how you can actually make more money throughout the bull cycle with those same holding positions. Okay, so let me get my calculator out here and we will get to work here. All right, so I kind of made a video on this a couple weeks ago. I just like to get I just like to repeat these things every now and then because I want people to kind of understand that you can be making a lot more money out there. All right, so I personally love to use for all of my crypto trading and holding, and pretty much everything I do in crypto revolves around me using one, price action, and two, this 7-period SMA. All right. Now, if you're not sure what that is, or you want to add it to your own chart, you just go to indicators up here and you type in moving average simple. All right, it's the simple moving average. It's all it is. And you'll click it and it will add it to your chart, but it is not going to be set to 7. I think excuse me, I think the standard length is at 9. So what you want to do is click this arrow button down all the way to 7, and then there you go, hit the OK button, and there you go, you're good to go. So here's how I do things, okay? Instead of holding, for instance, if you're one of those types of people where, let's say you end up buying right down in here, when the bear market starts to kind of wean off and bullish momentum starts to take off, okay? You end up buying right there, and majority of you probably end up waiting all the way until right here or something like that to sell your bag that you bought back in here. All right, now here's the thing. Okay, we're going to do a little example here and I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's say, just to make this simple, we're just going to do this with $1,000. All right, so let's say you buy right down in here at, we'll just call it $34. Okay, so you buy $1,000 worth of Solana tokens at $34, and you are going to get 29.41 tokens. All right, so 29.41 tokens is what you're going to be holding on to for this entire span of, let's see here, throughout this entire span of pretty much 441 days, which is over a year. Okay, so you're going to be holding on to it for that long, and you're going to sell way up here right around $282. All right, so we've got 29.41. We're going to multiply that by, shit, what was the number? I already forgot. We're just going to call it $282. So multiply that by $282, and you're going to come out in the end with $8,293. Okay, but here's the problem with that: you can be making a shit ton more money by macro trading the weekly chart instead of just buying once and holding on for an entire year or even longer and waiting to cash out for, a smaller amount of money. All right. So we got $8,300 here. Okay. So 8,300, remember that number, okay? Actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna have a hard time remembering that number, so I'm just gonna put that in here real quick. I've got a really bad memory when it comes to this stuff. All right, so 8,300. All right, now what we want to do instead is you want to trade the macro peaks and valleys, okay? So you're gonna buy right down in here. Let me go ahead and make a line down in here at, let's see here, what did we say, $34? So we've got $34. We'll go ahead and make sure that's right at 34. And there we go. We are right at $34. And we go ahead and sell right up in here at $282. So 282.00. So that is our main selling target overall. And this is our main buying target where we first buy in the very, very beginning. All right. So at this point in time, you had I think 29.41 tokens, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to sell when, especially with this strategy, you want to sell when price action, which is the candlesticks themselves, when price action starts to deviate far away from the moving average, all right? So as you can clearly see right here, price action moved, pretty closely to the moving average right in here, all right? So it wasn't ready to come down for a small correction yet or a large correction or anything like that. Instead, it ended up going even higher. And this is the big kind of deviation that I'm talking about here. When price action deviates far away from the moving average, a correction is likely to come, okay? And you can see that right in here as well, right here, when it deviates far away from the moving average, boom, we get our consolidation and correction downwards, all right? Same thing happened right in here. We had this gigantic big wick going up. Bears said, no way that's happening right now, and they ended up dropping it the next week, all right? Same thing up here. We ended up deviating very far away from the moving average, and we ended up coming down. Same thing happened right up here. We went all the way up, deviated far away from the moving average. We ended up coming back down, all right? So you want to be trading those deviations instead of holding on for the entire time, all right? And I'm going to show you this example and how this works, okay? So you end up buying $1,000 worth of Solana right down here at $34, which would get you 29.41 tokens, okay? Now next, what you're going to do is you're going to wait until price action deviates far away from the moving average, so right up in here, all right? So this would be your first selling point right in here, which would be right around $112, okay? So now you've got your 29.41 tokens, and you're going to sell it for $112, all right? You're going to sell it for $112. Now instead of $1,000, now you have $3,293, all right? So now we take $3,293, and what we are going to do is we are going to wait until price action comes down and starts to, before it starts to come down and retest this moving average, all right? When it retests that moving average, what we're looking for is we want to make sure that price action doesn't go below it and close below that moving average. And as you can clearly see, we did not have a single candle closure in bearish territory closing below that moving average here. Instead, it ended up going back up and gaining momentum and going up even further. So when it does test this moving average right here, this is where you would want to rebuy, right at the moving average itself, okay? So if you end up buying right in there, let's see here, we will go ahead and mark this at we'll just say $90. It's close. It's like 89 something, but we'll just call it 90 bucks. So now you've got your $3,293, and what you're going to do is we're going to go ahead and divide that by $90. And what you're going to do is now instead of having 29.41 tokens, now you have even more tokens. Now you have 36.58 tokens, okay? So now you're working with 36.58 tokens. Now let me go ahead and mark this. 36.58 is what we're at. 36.58 SOL. All right, so now at the bottom of here, you have 36.58 SOL. And what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing again, repeat the process, and wait until it goes all the way up here, okay? And when that happens, then you're going to go ahead and sell. So if you go ahead and you sell up in this area, we'll just call it $200 just for simplicity's sake here. So now you take your 36,000, or sorry, 36.58 tokens, and we're going to go ahead and multiply that by 200 because you're selling at 200 now. So now, and yes, oh, sorry, I did 2,000. 36.58, and we are going to multiply that by 200. Now, now your $1,000 is now $7,316. All right. So now we are at $7,316. 7,316. All right. So now you're at $7,316, and we are up in this area right in here, okay? And then what you're going to do next is you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to wait until it comes back down, and you are going to wait until it retests this moving average. Now, at this moving average, instead of it stopping at this moving average, it instead went below it. So we had a good, decent, small correction right in there. And when that happens, you want to be buying when that happens, okay? Now, at this point in time, what you want to be doing is you want to be looking at levels like this. The very top of this previous high that we created going upwards is kind of the level you want to be rebuying at, okay? So you go ahead and mark that level, and you want to be rebuy right around that level. And as you can see, you would have had 3 different chances to buy at this exact level right here, okay? So we go ahead and mark that level, which is right around, let's see here, that would be $128. And what you want to do is you want to now take your $7,316 and you want to go ahead and divide that by $128. $128. So now, instead of having 36.58 SOL, now guess what? Now you have even more SOL to work with. You have 57.15. All right. So now we have 57.15 SOL. All right. And now what you're going to do is you can either keep going through and buying, rebuying and reselling all the way, each time it goes up and down here. But realistically, what you want to do is now, since you're at this point, now your big key goal here is to wait until price action gets above and breaks above this previous high level. It's all about the previous high levels. Okay. So, obviously it ended up happening right back in here. So we broke through that level and we ended up going way far up and deviating far away from the moving average once again. And you'd want to sell right in there. Okay. We were talking about this candle right in here. Now, if you were to go ahead and sell that, you'd be selling at roughly around $253 or so. So now we've got 57.15 tokens, 57.15 tokens, and we're going to go ahead and multiply that by $253. All right, 253. And now your $1,000 investment has turned into $14,458, all right, which is already much, much larger than your $8,300 that you would have made if you were to have just buy here and sold here one time, all right? So instead of buying and selling just that one time, because you've been buying and selling multiple times in between, you're not only making more SOL or buying more SOL each time, but you're also increasing and compounding those profits each time as well. So realistically here, as you can clearly see, you can make much, much more money by simply trading or buying and selling the macro peaks and the macro valleys on the weekly charts instead of just buying and holding and waiting one time to be able to sell at the very end. All right. Because obviously, as you just saw, what I was just showing you, you could have made an easy, roughly an easy extra $7,000 to $10,000 just by, buying and selling the macro peaks and valleys. And I know that a lot of people get scared when they think about, the idea of possibly trading their coins. But realistically, you're basically trading when you're buying down here and selling way up here anyway. So you might as well just take it a little bit further and earn some extra money and buy and sell the peaks and valleys over and over again. Overall, you're going to make a lot more money if you do things this way rather than just buying and selling one time. Okay. Realistically, millions of people around the world end up marrying their bags, and all it honestly does is kills their profit potential. But the only way to get over that hurdle and make more money is not by being lazy, and by learning how to look at a very basic weekly chart like the one I'm looking at right here to sell the peaks and rebuy the valleys below. Now, if before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if you guys enjoyed this video and you feel like you got some decent value out of it, please be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button below the video, and with that said, thanks for watching.